Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today, I've got something a bit different for you. The developers of Pax Dei have dropped a big update about what's been going on behind the scenes, the changes they've made, and what's coming next. They also released their latest roadmap, so I'll break down what's planned for spring 2025 and beyond. As always, I've got some thoughts. I have some reservations, but I give credit where it's deserved. Let's dive in, starting with the technical updates. The developers provided insight into changes to their database infrastructure. They moved from Amazon RDS Postgres to Amazon Aurora, a newer PostgreSQL-compatible system. Why? To improve reliability and scalability. In simple terms, the old system had a primary and a backup node, and failovers could take several minutes. Aurora cuts that down to seconds with a shared memory layer and faster failover. It also allows for dynamic scaling, adding or removing nodes without much downtime. The result? Better stability, less downtime, and a stronger foundation for the game's growth. Solid move, even if most of us will feel it more than we see it. Then we've got the reflections on early access and the roadmap. The devs admitted that since launching early access, their goal has been to gather feedback from the community. They praised the player base. Over 70,000 people are following development on Discord and sharing tips and tricks. The first few months were about stabilization. Then came Proving Grounds, which fixed the biggest pain points, and with Market Square, they started introducing new systems. They also acknowledged that some tough decisions had to be made. Certain features, like PvP and the Knight Soldier role, were delayed in favor of working on core systems. On the flip side, things like the journal and crafting balance were delivered earlier than planned. They even added new features designed to strengthen the game long-term. Speaking of early access, they admitted it took too long for the game to start feeling fun. Proving Grounds introduced enemy camps in the Heartlands, basic gear and spells, letting players dive into adventure within hours. The journal and crafting balance made learning professions easier, while the new Corrupted Plains biome and compass improved exploration. Combat got some love too. Improved animations and movement, new spells, better gear balancing, and reworked Inquisitors and Lost Souls. Still, it's not quite engaging enough. They want gear and skill choices to have more meaningful impact on player roles. Building remains their crown jewel. They praise the community's creativity, villages, fortresses, cities. They're planning new build sets, including limestone in verse 3, but reminded us that building systems come with performance costs. The move to Unreal Engine 5.4 helped, and more optimization is on the way. They're also working on a system to clear plots owned by inactive players to address the ghost towns issue. Social interaction hasn't been forgotten. Pax Dei integrated the Discord social SDK. Now we've got text and voice chat, friends lists, and more to help players coordinate and connect. The game now supports German and French, with Polish and Spanish coming soon. Economy is a major focus in the update. The devs see Pax Dei as a cycle: gather, craft, destroy. Gathering, chopping wood, mining ore, hunting, or farming PvE mobs for gold and loot, and crafting building already work, but to close the loop, players need meaningful ways to spend resources like gear, gold, and grace. Market Square introduced player stalls and gold-based trade, supporting specialization, and let players spend grace on things like spell effects. They want to deepen that loop and stabilize the economy further. So what's coming in the roadmap? Spring 2025's verse 3 is packed. Revamped gear made of cloth, leather, and metal, new melee weapon skills, a new weapon type, healing staves, over 15 new spells, improved crowd control, changes to XP progression in combat, a skinning tool, Polish and Spanish localization, new building sets, limestone, decorative beams, and log cabin, storage and crafting stations in starting areas, a new animal, wild goats, refreshed Heartland provinces, and the fast travel wonder. Later plans include a revamped Lyonesse province with expanded PvP, trade cities, the knight and soldier roles, gear customization, controller support, new furniture, new enemies, an improved permission system, mounts, better NPC behavior, and unveiling the game's lore. Verse 3 looks like a big leap forward. Combat will get new spells, gear traits, healing staves, and 3 active skills per melee weapon, making playstyles more distinct. Crafting, especially tailoring, tanning, and blacksmithing, will be reworked for better onboarding and progression, with simpler chains and less interdependence between professions early on. The world itself will change. More Heartlands per province, smaller Wildlands, a new fast travel wonder, and upgraded starter zones in Pax Dei with public stations and storage. Further down the line, bigger PvP zones in Lyonesse, cloth dyeing, QOL improvements, and maybe mounts. They also teased future monetization plans to cover server costs, promising it'll be fair. Now, for my thoughts. The shift to Aurora is a step in the right direction. Less downtime and better scalability is something every player benefits from, even if it's not immediately visible. I appreciate the transparency. Admitting PvP and role delays shows they're listening and focusing on building a solid base instead of rushing features. Early access is in a better place now, but I still feel like the early game could be more engaging. As for combat, it's more responsive now, but I agree, it's still not very captivating. Good to see that verse 3 aims to address that, because currently, it gets repetitive too fast. Building is one of the game's true highlights, but performance still suffers. As for those so-called ghost towns, I feel like it's an overblown issue that doesn't really need fixing. It would naturally resolve itself if the surrounding area becomes engaging enough to keep players active there, especially if players are given the ability to relocate their plot when they decide to move their focus elsewhere. That way, a player could release land they no longer need, making it available to someone who actually wants to be active in that location. The reduction of Wildlands in verse 3 worries me. I get that it's meant to increase player density and interactions, but smaller wildlands mean fewer spaces for activities. Some locations that are currently wild will become heartlands, meaning we'll lose exploration and farming spots. Plus, cramming more players into tighter areas increases competition for resources, and wood might get harder to come by. Instead of shrinking wildlands, I'd prefer if they introduced a new region, ideally a PvP-focused one where players can build anywhere and even destroy other structures, or at least promise one in the future. Also, the Wildlands shrink ties into the upcoming world wipe, and we don't know what that actually means. Will it be like before, removing plots and sending their content to a redemption queue? Or will it go further and wipe characters too? Personally, I doubt they'll wipe characters. That would drive people away, and the devs have said they'd only do that for serious reasons. On the other hand, they're aiming for a release this year, so if a reset is going to happen, this is probably their last chance, and that makes me nervous. The economy has potential, but it's still shallow. Strangely, there's no mention of buy orders in the roadmap, something that really should have been in place already. Without them, player-to-player trading feels limited, and in a sandbox, interaction is everything. The idea of trade cities in Lyonesse also raises some questions. It sounds like they'll be NPC-run, which doesn't sit well. Pax Dei was supposed to avoid NPCs. These hubs should be created by players. They could be, if we had both buy orders and a permission system that allowed placing stalls on someone else's land without risk. Stall owners shouldn't risk losing their inventory if the landowner deletes the stall, and landowners shouldn't have to worry about stall owners messing up their space. Verse 3 sounds promising. New spells, staves, weapon skills, and crafting updates are all steps in the right direction, and the fast travel wonder could really shake up the global economy. PvP in Lyonesse and cloth dyeing sound great too. We'll see if they follow through. The roadmap also mentions support for Polish and Spanish. A nice touch, but I'd prefer more focus on core mechanics that actually drive community interaction. To sum it up, the devs are headed in the right direction, but there's still a lot to do. I'd love to see faster implementation of trade mechanics, more reasons for players to interact, and a more careful approach to changes like reducing the wildlands. What about you? Are you hyped for verse 3, or maybe the PvP in Lyonesse? Or is there something else on your mind? Let me know in the comments. Thanks for taking the time to watch this video. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to stay up to date with my future content. And if you have a different opinion, found something intriguing, or think I missed something, let me know in the comments. Even critical feedback is welcome, as it helps me create even better videos. Do you have a topic you'd like me to cover in a future video? Share your ideas in the comments. I'd love to hear your suggestions. Looking forward to your thoughts and feedback. See you in the next video.